I'm Dr. Jordan Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Hello, Superwomen. We've had some great feedback from this series. If you have not listened to part 1, where we discussed what an unfulfilling relationship is and 2 things that I have learned from working with over 2,000 superwomen. And in part 2, we talked about the cost of an unfulfilled or toxic relationship. And lots of you have reached out. Lots of you have applied to the feminine mentorship, to my last 2 spots for one-on-one coaching for this year, because you are unfulfilled, because there is something missing in your relationship. And a part of the feedback, a part of the conversation, especially from the ladies in the feminine mentorship that have dived into this work, they are receiving more, happier, know how to ask for their needs to be met in a way that doesn't put their partners on tilt. They're practicing the applications, and they know that they're only part of the equation. They are one side of the street. So they have requested an episode that speaks more directly to the men. I encourage you to listen fully before flipping this over, because, there might be certain things that don't apply, or you'll want to get those out of the way first. So for the men that relate to superwomen, for the men, and your woman, she is driven, she is on her own path, she can handle everything with her superwoman cape flapping in the wind. And there's a part of her that's missing. That sparkle is gone. That attraction, she's like exhausted, burnt out, probably a little crusty. And you miss that side of her. You see her, you support her goals, but you also know that it comes at a price. So this is for you. Thank you for listening, especially to those men listening to these episodes without being asked, because the problems that I'm going to talk about today is not all men, that it is not all men that are the problem. So for the men that step up and do the things and are proactive about their relating, and they have done, like, you've done your own work, you've done your own therapy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So listen to the end. There's going to be some helpful insights even for you. And thank you to those of you that are going to listen, and instead of getting stuck in your feelings, you're going to get bigger. You're going to take action. You're going to implement. So I have a challenge for you to listen to the end, to feel the feelings that listening to this episode is going to inevitably bring up, without blaming anyone for them. Don't blame me. Don't blame the woman that asked you to listen to it. And this will be a step in the right direction to getting you laid, and the love and the admiration that you want, the restoring of the balance of her and her feminine and receiving, and you and your presence and leading, because that's when this works. And this is a flow. This is interchangeable. It is a partnership. But the relationships that I see out of balance is women in their masculine, leading, directing, controlling, fixing, and men checked out, not present, not in touch with their feelings. And it's a chicken or the egg thing. Maybe you've tried to help, and she tells you that you don't do it right, so you've given up. But the common thread is we want this to improve. We want the relationship to be better, to be in you in your proper energetic pole in the masculine, and her in her feminine. And yes, it will change. It is supposed to change, but That is the biological way that it should be. So I'm going to paint a big picture for you, and then I'm going to bring it back to you. But this is why my challenge is for you to listen to the end. I'm going to tease you a little, make you work for the details, the golden nuggets at the end. I promise that it is going to be worth it. And I want you to understand the experience of women and where they're coming from, and also know that I understand the experience of men. Depression rates are on the rise for men as well. There is a lack of fulfillment. Like, is this it? Is this my life? Is this as good as it gets? Anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure, this is a universal problem, not a gendered one. Andropause, something that I deal with clinically, that testosterone rates are declining in men at a younger and younger age. Sperm counts are down by about 50%. So we're seeing like just a demasculization of men from the health perspective, like with depression rates. So this is real. This is a real problem. And the lack of fulfillment is a two-way street. So this is not all about your one person in a relationship. It is about both partners feeling fulfilled and supported and seen and heard. I talk to superwomen about this all the time, but I think you should know that loneliness is the equivalent of smoking 15 cigarettes per day. We know that that's not healthy. And love is medicine. This can sound like an airy-fairy thing, but connection changes the way your genes express. Remember those times, like the way that she used to look at you when you first met, or the feeling of her melting into your arms. Those create happy hormone cascades. They decrease inflammation, and you are healthier in a loving, connected relationship. Conflictual relationships, unfulfilling relationships lead to inflammation and early aging. We know connection boosts immune function. It decreases inflammation. It heals. So there is a cost to having an unfulfilled relationship, to feeling alone in relationship. And this is universal. The goal of today's episode is for you to have a deeper understanding of where your superwoman is coming from, of how she was raised, her family system, society impacts her, of why her nervous system gets triggered and she might be snappy or cold or disengaged. To learn about how it is to exist as a woman in a world designed for men, where she's told she's too much or not enough. And even if you are there cheerleading, supporting her, even if you are not telling her these things, society, social, friends, family, she is getting these messages, being judged constantly. And I want you to remember that two things are true at once: your experience and her experience. If we can make space for both of those, if you can make space for her and her truth and her reality and how it is to exist as a superwoman, she will soften. She will let go of the wheel, control, need to fix. She will step out of that masculine. You will stop competing for the alpha role, and she will learn to soften into her feminine. And we can do that dance better, or we can occupy the space of who's leading and who's receiving. It can feel like a conflicting time to be a man these days. What can you say? What can't you say? Do you ask for consent before you kiss her or try something new? Truthfully, we feel you. Women have walked on eggshells for centuries trying to exist in a misogynistic culture. And it can feel easier to check out instead of deal with these things. Check out by working too much, check out by gaming, sports, instead of being present. And it feels better. It feels better to be winning at work or winning on the golf course than failing at home. So, like I said, maybe you've tried and she got mad at you that you didn't do it right. She doesn't ask for help, so it's easier to just let her do it her way. But you've also noticed that she doesn't sparkle like she used to when you met. She snaps, she's exhausted all the time, maybe even too tired for sex or too tired to be experimental during sex. So, what you're doing is routine and it's the same thing over and over to get each other off. Not very exciting. So, you're not sure what happened to this bright, energetic, passion filled woman now that you are both unfulfilled. This is where I come in. And I'm normally helping women, but my male viewership has increased by 30%. And there are more and more of you reaching out that I would love to help, like start working on both sides of this equation. So, what do I need you to know? That relationship scripts are outdated. The modern woman, a superwoman, does not need a man for money or resources. She wants something else from you. And I will share that later. First, who am I? I am a woman. What gives me the right to speak about men? It is the same reason, well, I'm a white woman. So it's the same reason why I don't go to other white people to learn about racism. That is asinine. I need to talk to people of color about what their experience of white people is and how it affects them. The oppressed knows everything about the oppressor. So if you want to know about the experience of women, don't ask other men. I am a sexual abuse survivor. I have been a victim of intimate partner violence, coercive control, learned how to walk on eggshells to keep myself safe. So I've seen some pretty dark sides of masculinity, toxic masculinity, misogyny, and I've also had the privilege of relating to some very amazing, amazing men. So I've seen all sides. If you want to know what it's like to be a woman in misogynistic culture, ask a woman. Listen to her. Take what she says as her truth. They are her feelings. It's not about your feelings at the moment. It's not about whether you fully agree or not, because at the end of the day, you are not a woman and you do not know. And we've been raised in a culture for the inability to tolerate shame and the inability for people to own the ways that they have screwed up. And it's one of the reasons why we are where we are personally, globally. Yeah. And I do not want to get into the global issues here. There's too much to speak on. So I speak primarily on women's health issues and health and relationship for celebrities, high net worth individuals, very, very high achieving women. And I help women get their sparkle back like when they first met. Because trust me, they do not want to be the crusty, exhausted, burnt out version of themselves. That's what they come to me for, to help fix. So I help them heal their feminine burnout. I help them learn how to ask for help, receive it, let go of control, teach them how to have better sex, sex that keeps them satisfied for days. Because let's face it, when they're in cross things off the to-do list mode, that is not the state that we need to be in for good sex. More and more men are reaching out to me asking for help. The problems, like I said, are universal. We look at them differently, we come at them differently, and that's the beauty of it. That can create tension in a relationship when you know how to harness the tension and direct it properly. I just hosted a 2-day women's retreat in Arizona about dominance and submission, when to be dominant, when to control, and when and how to be in their submissive feminine energy. And beautiful, beautiful things happened on that retreat and post that retreat with their partners. The divorce rate statistics are universal. It takes two in these relationships, and oftentimes women are filing for divorce. Also, single women are polling as the happiest globally, and this research is just getting stronger and stronger. So, what is going on here? The relationships that we feel like teammates instead of lovers, this is again universal. It's not a gender problem. So, back to being a woman, an abuse survivor, sexual abuse, domestic violence. I understand the dark side of misogyny and the systems in place to protect abusers. So, if you don't want to tell me that patriarchy and misogyny exists, I want you to look no further than domestic violence and sexual abuse. And the statistics on this are astounding. So, chances are the woman that you are in relationship to, or your daughters, or your sister, or your female friends, your mother, has experienced some type of sexual abuse or violence. And I'll get to the stats in a second. But when you are the victim, you are inherently not believed. You're supposed to call the police and report the offense, which sometimes puts you in more danger. And if you didn't report it, then it didn't happen. So the Me Too movement has started to shift some of this, started to bring to light the sexual abuse and misogyny that exists in many, the workplace, culture, society. And really, when we think about it, and I was raised with these beliefs too, I had to flip them and even had to experience abuse myself and gaslight myself to pretend that it didn't even happen. And I guarantee you, if you ask your partner about it, she has probably experienced some type of male violence. And no, this is not your fault, but it impacts her nervous system and ability to feel safe. And I'm going to get into why that matters and why that is making it difficult for you both to feel fulfilled in your relationship today and what we can do about it. So, we are raised in a culture to not believe the victim, to say she is crazy, she is social climbing, she's making it up for her own gain. It is easier to believe that someone is crazy than to believe that people are capable of abuse. These systems are set up to defend men. How do you think that makes our nervous systems feel? Safe, open, ready to be penetrated, or closed off and rigid? In family court, when you are trying to protect your child from abuse, you are called alienating. So, how in 2023 can the defense of she's crazy still work? This sexism, misogyny still exists in a big, big way. We could get into these discussions about the workplace, but in summary, systems are set up to protect men and they do not protect women. Even when we take time off, I said I wasn't going to talk about corporations or anything, but taking time off for maternity leave and like steps back in our career, time away, it's still perceived in some ways as weak. You're passed over for promotions. The stats on women's earning potential after they have had a baby or taken time off, it like flatlines. So I think the problem, we have this cognitive dissonance that we think we've come a long way. We think that we have equality of the sexes, but we really do not have gender equality at all. So, like I said, stick with me. I'm going to go big picture. And then I'm going to bring it back to you and your relationships. But you need to understand the big picture of where your superwoman is coming from if you want to have a connected relationship and amazing sex. And she understands the reciprocal for you too. And if she works with me, that's part of what she is learning. So these stats are going to speak for themselves. And yes, women can be abusers, women can have personality disorders, but the stats are nowhere near as staggering. It is in much smaller numbers. So 1 in 3 women worldwide have experienced physical and or sexual violence in their lifetime. So these are your coworkers, these are your friends, these are your daughters, the women who are smiling back at you every day, pretending to be fine. And a lot of the superwomen that I work with haven't even dealt with it. They just accept it, as they sometimes don't even identify it as abuse because it was just part of it. It was just like, oh, well, that's the way that the CEO was with all the women. So it's like she doesn't count it as abuse, but abuse was still abuse. Her nervous system still stores it. And when she gets triggered, it comes out. In Canada, which is where I live, half of women experience domestic violence or sexual assault by the age of 16. This is 1 in 2. And if you remember what I said, this is what is reported. So, as somebody who has experienced this type of abuse, this is very underreported because just by reporting it, you can put yourself in more danger. You can fear you won't be believed, etc. So, further, as many as 38% of murders globally of women are committed by their male partner. An almost 40% chance, or that a murder of a woman was by their male partner? What? 20 million women and girls have experienced female genital mutilation. Domestic violence is a global problem that affects 35% of women worldwide. And again, I guarantee you that this is underreported. Domestic violence has gone up since COVID. Globally, around 137 women are killed by their partner or a family member every single day. Rape and murder of women is a part of war and humanitarian issues. And I could go on, but I won't. But you're getting a bit of the picture that violence against women, women not feeling safe, cultures where women and children aren't safe, like we've lost humanity. We've lost our touchstone. You would not exist on this earth to breathe, laugh, orgasm, close deals if it wasn't for women, if it wasn't for wombs. Our race would not exist. Somewhere along the line, we forgot this. Somewhere along the line, we started burning women at the stake. Somewhere along the line, we started selling women as property. So we have old beliefs from these times that are perpetuating the unfulfillment, lack of fulfillment in your current relationship. So listen carefully. How many of these do you agree with? Or how many of these were you raised to believe, even if you changed your belief, or it was just kind of a pervasive belief or not said? So, number 1, a woman should support her man, even if he's wrong. A woman should support her man at all costs. Number 2, it is expected that men are coercive controllers, monitoring whereabouts, phones, social media, social interactions. Number 3, women should not deny their male partner sex. Number 4, all women should be mothers, and something is wrong with a woman if she doesn't want kids. Number 5, women are only valued as wives and not as individuals and are expected to take on the workload of the household. So I definitely was raised with the belief of that, or the pervasive belief of that, like it was sort of accepted, even if it wasn't talked about. And my mom did a great job of teaching us otherwise. However, these beliefs still permeate culture. So, what I want to ask you is, say those in the reverse. Is there a male equivalent? Men are only valued as husbands, not as individuals. All men should be fathers, and something's wrong with them if they're not. Men cannot deny their female partner sex. It's expected that women are coercive controllers, monitoring their man's whereabouts. So it sounds weirder in the reverse, right? Which is part of the problem. Now, appreciate it. This has been some extended foreplay. We have talked about the experience of men. Unfulfilling relationships are a two-way street. We have talked about statistics for women and their safety or lack of. And I think it's super important for you to understand this and understand where she's coming from, because this lack of safety translates directly to the bedroom. So let's get into this. What do superwomen need? We need you, first and foremost, to be aware of the abuse that we've endured just by being a woman in this world, to validate it and know that some of her anger and charge about this misogynistic differences and what she has to endure every day, some of that anger isn't directed at you. So as a man, you are right. You are right in this world. Your sex is right. Like, penetration is the focus of sex, even though only 1/3 of women orgasm from penetration alone. So, what if the focus of sex was licking your scrotum, like licking your balls? How many of you could orgasm just by having your balls licked and not having your cock touched at all? But if you were raised in a world that said, that is sex, if you can't get off that way, not my problem. So many women, especially when they are stressed out, especially when they don't feel safe, do not feel anything pleasurable when they are penetrated. They have numb vaginas. There's so many reasons for it that I would need another podcast to talk about, but we need to be properly aroused and feel safe to fully enjoy pleasure. You're also taught that your desire is right to spontaneously want sex. Only 1/3 of women spontaneously want sex. The rest is responsive. She wants sex when the context is overtly sexual, when she has time to relax and rest her nervous system. And if she is doing all the things, working outside the home, earning money, possibly even out earning you if you're listening to this podcast, and there is not an equitable balance in relationship tasks across the board, she's going to be very responsive. She's going to need a lot of things to be done to be aroused. And maybe learning what those are is good. If she's working with me, she's learning how to turn on her desire in spite of all of these things, but she needs a partner that's going to meet her and understand halfway. Also, as a man, your feelings are right. If you feel it, you think that it is truth. It is the opposite for us. If we have a feeling, we are called crazy. We are told we're on our period. We're gaslit into not believing that our feelings are right. As women, we are either too much or never enough. And what we truly desire is a grounded partner to stay present with us, however we are showing up in that moment. That is sexy. That is something worth devoting ourselves to and opening ourselves to. Men who provide emotional security and leadership will get a woman who is in her feminine. Soft, relaxed, has her guard down. She is nurturing. And I mean, a lot of you are getting women that are in their masculine, and look how much she does. Imagine what it would be like if it was just soft, easy. The well of her love, of her feminine energy, the amount that she can open to you is endless. I see a lot of people, their relationships, there's like competition for who is alpha. And if she is doing a lot of the alpha tasks, a lot of the doing, the planning, the leading, and like leading is even picking where to go on vacation, planning the whole thing. Like, it is hard for her to let her guard down. She's been wounded. She's been abused by a culture that I just described. Her nervous system is probably on high alert. And if you check out when she is having big feelings, if you do not keep your promises, if you don't support her, she has to try harder to fill that void, and it moves her more into her masculine, less into her feminine, and it messes up the whole dynamic because you don't feel respected, appreciated, like a leader. Like she's got the wheel, she's dictating what's going on, and you're in the back seat with your eyes off the road, or yeah, arguing over who's driving or what direction to take. Unfulfilling for everyone involved. And for the superwomen, it's like, how do we crush it out in the world and also come home and soften in somebody's arms to open and fully receive from their men? And that is our work, but we need our partner to do theirs. The second thing that a superwoman needs, she does so much that you don't see. This is called the invisible workload. It is the invisible workload because it is invisible to you. It makes your life better. How do you think that rooms just get reset? Kids' activities and doctor's appointments and things just get planned. And again, if you are a man listening that is doing an equal share of the invisible workload, hats off to you. You deserve lifetime blowjobs. So the workload is invisible because you do not see it. And it is time to start taking some of those tasks off her plate without being asked. Get into that later. The third thing that a superwoman needs you to know, a checked out man creates a woman that needs to step into her masculine. She is required to take the wheel, step into a space that you are not occupying. Are you leading? Are you taking the wheel? Where have you let her lead? Like, really stop and think about it. Where have you given up your power as the leader and she's planning the vacation, she's coordinating the date nights, the tasks at home? And what is the impact that this has had on her? Does she not sleep? Is she always tense? Has she gained weight? Is she snappy? Is she less radiant? This is feminine burnout. And if you want to learn more about it, you can listen to part 2 in this series. This is what I help women fix. And for those that just like want to make me wrong because they're having big feelings right now, relationships are a two-way street, and this should be reciprocal. So she should lead sometimes and follow others. But I find the unfulfilled relationships is where the dynamic is stuck, where she's stuck in the over giving and doing, and you are stuck in the like checked out, not leading energy. And we need to fix it. So we're going to get into some tips, but I guarantee that you fight and you love the same way that you fuck. And it is probably not initiated into healthy masculine, where you have control of your emotion and your tongue and your cock, and you are a big enough container that she feels safe enough to relax and open and be penetrated by you. There's people that are even in great relationships, and I love working with these couples. They are in great relationships and they want it to be better. When I tell them that they can have multiple orgasm or orgasm for minutes if they want to, or orgasm from having their nipples licked, like they want to deepen their intimacy even though their relationship is good, that couple, the woman still isn't truly feeling safe. She's having sex, she's being penetrated, even though she doesn't fully feel safe. And when we learn these things, when both men and women learn these things, these techniques, it is game changing for your sex. So there's women's work. That is a lot of what I do. And then there is your work, men's work. And it has been needing to be done for generations. So now is the time. We're doing this now before it's too late, before we repeat the same pattern to our children and next generations. So I want to give you some tips. Tips for men's work. Number 1, if you want to be a better lover, Learn how to be a better man. It's not about the techniques, you know, how to make her squirt or find the G spot. It's about being a better man. And yes, we need to know these anatomical locations and things, but being grounded, being in integrity, being a leader, being driven by your purpose, that is going to make you a better lover. This is the feminine mentorship. This is my year-long program for women. We are learning these techniques. We are learning how to open and receive and relax. We are learning how to regulate our nervous systems. And there is the reciprocal for you to do as well. So, how do you regulate your nervous system? How do you care about her pain and her feelings, even when you don't understand them or agree with them? Like that little nugget right there, just be with her in her big feelings that probably she has a capacity to feel like you have no idea. She has capacity to create life, to grow another life inside of her. So you don't know, like you don't get it. So stop invading her emotional experience with your shame. Her highest need is to feel safe. So if you want to stop conflict, if you want to support her, say, I hear you. I'm in this with you. I love you. We're going to figure this out. Say, your feelings matter to me. Watch what happens. I just saved you all thousands of dollars in therapy right there. Use those phrases when she is having big feelings. Watch her soften and melt into you. Men's tip number 2. Keep your word even in the small things. We do not feel safe. If you say that you're going to take out the trash and you don't take out the trash, but you do it 1,000 times, that equals her nervous system not feeling safe. She has to be in her masculine, on guard. That's not where you want her for great sex and connected relationships. Number 3, patterns of behavior count, not promises. Patterns of behavior. So saying you'll do things, not following through. And if you take out the trash once, take it out every single week without being asked. Patterns of behavior, which leads me into number 4. Notice what needs to be done and do it without being asked. This will transform your relationship. Teach your kids to do the same. Why is it her responsibility to manage you? Being an equal partner means managing the invisible workload as well. Don't default to she's got it or she needs it done her way. And also, if she's up your dick, up your ass about how to do things properly, or if you're not doing them properly, that is her work to do. That is what I help them with. That's what I help Superwomen with. So take responsibility over what needs to get done in the home without needing a to-do list. Just her having to make you a to-do list is the invisible workload. And I can feel pussies around the world relaxing and opening as they're listening to this. The thought of you taking things off her plate consistently without her having to manage or remind you, she's getting juicy already. And teach your kids the same thing so they don't need to be reprogrammed as adults. Your mom overfunctioned for you. That is why you do not see the invisible workload. And your mom probably also stayed at home. And this does not fit in today's society. And your mom didn't want to fuck you. This was a mother-child, a caregiver relationship. So if you want your partner to fuck you, get her out of the caregiver role. Start looking at the invisible workload at home and with kids and take things off her plate consistently. As I said, if she has trouble letting go, trouble accepting help, that is where I come in. She needs to work with me. An example. So your kid goes to practice and she does the driving, but it's not just that. It's that she signed them up. It's that she researched the best places. It's that she looked at what equipment they needed and the right size and all the things. That's the invisible workload. So it's not just what you see, it's all of the things behind the scenes that went into it without you knowing. Number 5, this is a two-way street. If you golf for 5 hours every Saturday or play poker, where is her 5 hours away per week to do something that she loves while you take care of all the things that she didn't have to overfunction and prep meals and write you a to-do list and organize and tell you how to do it all while she was away? So always look at the things. If it is not a two-way street, this is a red flag that she does not feel safe. Now, that is a lot. It might feel heavy, overwhelming, angering, frustrating, whatever it brought up in you, I am honoring. These are big issues. They are intergenerational trauma, gender roles that don't fit anymore. There is so much going on. So, in addition to the tips in this episode, there are 2 more action steps that you can take. The first is we have a Black Friday deal on for Pleasure Principles, my foundational program for your superwoman to start exploring her desires, her pleasure, her feminine. And for the first time ever, you can get started for as little as $225 a month. And you can save $350 if you pay in full. So many of you, your superwomen, want to do this program. They need to do this work. It would be life-changing for her, for your relationship, for your families. And then she's met with, well, how is this going to help me? Or if we're spending this money, how's it going to help me? And I hope you know from listening to this, her doing her work and you understanding her work, it's going to help you have better sex, more connected relationships. And when she softens and learns to let you lead, and you need to step up and lead, it is going to be a game changer. Pleasure Principles is a game changer. $225 a month is game changing for your relationship. So, Black Friday deal. Do not know how long we're going to leave it on. We are giving away my Feminine Burnout Recovery Program for free when you purchase this. So, this is a $3,000 value, and we are letting you pay over time for a lower monthly amount to make this more affordable. So if you have been questioning whether to join Pleasure Principles, if this is your wife, I promise this is the right next step. We will put the link in the show notes for the Black Friday deal. Second thing is I have 2 one-on-one coaching spots left for the year. So run, don't walk if you want to work with me privately. I'm going to put that link in the show notes. And with our Black Friday specials, everything that I am offering in my private coaching, it's a 5-figure investment. This is not cheap. Neither is a divorce. Neither is being sick and doing all the other things to try and fix this pleasure anhedonia fulfillment problem when they're not working. Think of how much money you have wasted trying to fix this problem because you're trying to do things that don't work. And finally, the feminine mentorship. This is like, I cannot say enough about superwomen doing this program and how life-changing it is. It is 12 months, 2 in-person retreats, 6 intensive workshops, monthly calls, community with like-minded women that want to really learn how to be in their feminine power and not step back from what they've built, still be a badass, have energy, feel rested, feel desired, feel connected and present. Because all of the things that make us great CEOs, professionals, managers, make us not so great at the receive, let go, relax, trust thing. So these are the tools and skills that you will learn. The sex tips, the techniques, that's in there too. And that is like the icing on the cake. So many ways to change this problem. Happy, connected, present, vital relationships are possible. Stop putting off the work. Do not let 2024 be a repeat of 2023 or the years gone by. And these issues get worse. You know, there's only so many vacations you can go on, pets you can buy, kitchens that you can remodel in avoidance of doing this work. And we just need to get super honest and just say, I am not happy. I'm not as happy as I used to be. I'm not as happy as I should be. And take the steps to fix it. I gave you 3 options to do so. Apply, apply, apply to work with me. Let's make sure that it is a fit for both of us. And I promise it will be life-changing. Have a great week, everybody. If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.